I caught my wife cheating on me after 17 years of marriage, but I've focused on myself while she struggles to move forward. I'm so devastated right now, I don't even know where to begin. This is a long story. The only reason I found this subreddit is because this has been stuck in my head all day, and I haven't been able to talk to anyone about it. Please be kind. So I've been married for 16 and a half years to my wife since I was 21. We've had ups and downs. When I met her, she was the kindest, most caring woman I'd ever met. I literally told her she was going to be my wife 2 minutes after meeting her. We have 2 children who are my entire world. After our second child, she started distancing herself, becoming depressed and changing. I thought she was dealing with depression, but she refused to look into it. I wanted couples therapy, but this was during the recession, and I was working 4 jobs and a side business, only to barely make it to the next month. I couldn't afford another $50 a week, especially when she wouldn't talk to me. I'd ask her what was wrong, and she'd always say, "I don't know." She'd have good weeks and bad weeks. Sometimes she was great. Other times she was rude and dismissive. Once we recovered, I begged her to come to therapy with me. Eventually she said yes, but I don't think she liked it. We went to a woman, and at first she told her the same thing I did. I can't work with I don't know. Then my wife said she needed more help around the house. Fine. This was in 2015. Since then, I've worked 3 jobs, vacuumed the house, emptied the dishwasher and sink daily, helped with laundry, taken out the trash, and tidied the house. Things were fine for a while, then she became rude again. This time she started nagging my daughter a lot. Finally, I pulled her aside and told her I would never get a divorce. I would try to work and improve our marriage for as long as necessary. But I think because my daughter is so similar to me, she was taking her poison out on her, and I can't allow that. So if she wanted a divorce, that's what we would do. The next day, she said she wanted to try, and for a few years, things were fine. She even went to a doctor and was prescribed an antidepressant. But she insisted on the lowest dose. Fast forward to 2020, when the rudeness and disrespect returned. But worse. There was utter contempt in his voice when he spoke to me, and a look of disgust whenever it appeared. It hurt. Sex was never an issue between us, and we both seemed to enjoy each other a lot. But when I got into these moods, he refused. I was never unfaithful to him, although as a bartender I had many offers. At one point, my sister told me she just assumed I had been unfaithful because she knew my wife hadn't been willing for a long time. I told her I would never do that. So now we are here. Last month, after a wedding, we were at a hotel and I was expecting some intimacy when he told me point blank, "I don't love you. I think we should get a divorce." We agreed to do it, but we would wait until after the holidays for the kids. She fell asleep 10 minutes later, and I lay in bed with tears streaming from my eyes for 3 hours. I thought it was going to be the most intense pain I'd ever feel. Then there's today. A week ago, she had to go to a party for my daughter's softball team at midnight. She wasn't home, so I checked our Live 360 app, and she was at an Applebee's. Strange, but I thought she'd met her friend for drinks afterward. The funny thing is, she was there until 1 but they closed at 12 like. I asked her where she went, and she said to some bar with the people from the party. She never mentioned Applebee's, which was strange. 2 days later, she said her boss told her she had to put a password on her phone for work emails. Now I was getting suspicious. Today, her mom called and asked if I could help her husband move a rug. So I went to help. When I finished, I was standing outside and looked at the Live 360 app to see if she had left work. She had, so I decided to try something. My wife has a bad habit of needing to talk on her phone when she's driving, so I called her. She was curt and said she had to go because she was talking to her mom, who was right in front of me. Okay, I went home. When she got there, I asked how her mom was. While I told her I'd seen her today, she said no and asked where I saw her. I said at her house when I called you. Her face fell. She tried some half-assed excuses. But she finally admitted she'd been seeing someone for a few months. So before we even agreed to the divorce, I was in shock. 10 minutes later, he was acting like nothing had happened. I don't know if it was so as not to alert the children or because he simply didn't care that he had devastated me, but I suspect the latter. I couldn't even talk to anyone about it since we kept the fact that we had agreed to a divorce a secret, so no one would leak it to my children. And we had to go to a Christmas village tonight, so we were out all night. My kids knew something wasn't right with me, but they just thought I was in a bad mood. My son literally said, "It sounds like you're hurt. I just don't know what I'm going to do." The prospect of divorce was stressful enough, and I've lost 20 pounds in the last month without even trying. Just thinking about how we can do this without me losing my house. I've spent the last 15 years paying off $10,000 in credit card debt, on $55,000 in student loans, and a $45,000 car. Now I'm going to owe her at least $40,000 on the house. It's going to be painful, but I think I can do it. Finally, I was starting to mentally prepare for the divorce. And then this betrayal hit me like a sack of bricks. In the last month, it's hurt me more than I thought possible. I don't even recognize the woman I married. I don't even know what I'm going to do. My daughter will be devastated when we tell her we're separating. But I don't even know if I should tell her this because I don't want her to hate her mom. I'm lost, confused, stressed beyond what I can bear, and devastated. And I look at my wife and she doesn't seem to give a damn. Thanks for listening. I don't even know if what I wrote is allowed or if it's too off topic, but anyway, thank you because it was very therapeutic to just write it and get it off my chest, even if I'm writing this with more tears streaming down my face. Thanks, guys. Update 1, update 3 months from today. Well, it's been 3 months since my initial post, and it's been a pretty intense journey. Please excuse the length of this message. I received a lot of advice in my initial post. Check my post history for the original story. But I decided to follow my gut on how to proceed, and it's going well. It's not over yet, as you'd expect, considering it's only been a few months. So, a week after my post, I found out the guy's name when she was messaging him on Facebook on her computer. Apparently, that's his only way of communicating, most likely because he's married with 3 kids. He's also a doctor and rich, so that was a real blow to a guy who works 3 jobs to survive. At Christmas, I found out he'd told his entire family that we were getting divorced, along with my sister and my cousin's wives. Meanwhile, I still hadn't told anyone for fear it would reach my kids before the holidays were over. His mom wasn't happy. She thought he was making the biggest mistake of his life, as were my sister and her best friend. She didn't care. She also left out the part about his infidelity, of course. I couldn't talk to his mom at Christmas because I was already starting to cry and didn't want to alert my kids, so I scheduled a talk with her a few days later. The next day, my wife and I sat down and talked. I told her I didn't want her to see the guy again until everything was finished. It was disrespectful. She agreed. Then we discussed how to divide things. I think I did it right. No alimony, no child support, 50-50 custody. We both provide the kids' clothes and everything else is split equally. I keep the house. I have to pay her $43,000 in equity. In the end, she walked away with about $40,000. She owes her dad $110,000, has a credit score of $800 and 0 debt. All thanks to me. When I finally went to talk to her mom, I found out that when she found out we were going to talk, she confessed the truth. Originally, she lied about the infidelity when her mom asked, then told her the truth. After that, my mother-in-law was furious and really scolded her. Then she cried, telling me that she was afraid I would cut her out of my life, something I assured her would never happen. Fast forward to mid-January. I've now lost 40 pounds. I go to the gym every day to relieve stress. Now we have to tell my kids. I told her I wouldn't lie to my kids, but I wouldn't rat her out either. I told her if they asked, she should try to divert the conversation somehow. She said she felt the same. The thing is, I knew this wouldn't fly with my daughter. She's like a 14-year-old EMI clone. She can detect bullshit from miles away. And that's what happened. Before we even said anything, my daughter asked if we were getting a divorce. When we sat her down, my wife said yes, and my kids broke down, lots of crying. I saw them crying, and I started to cry. Then my wife made a huge mistake. She said, "Listen, we both want this," and that's when my daughter attacked her with everything she had. She screamed, "That's nonsense. My father would never want this. You want it. Look at him, he's crying. I've never seen him cry in my life. This is your doing." Then he asked if my wife was cheating on me. My wife tried to change the subject, but she wouldn't have it. He grilled her while screaming, "Tell me the truth," over and over again until my wife confessed. After that, it was like I could see her brain working. He started pointing out every red flag over and over again, and he got my wife to confess in 3 minutes. He got more out of her than I had in a month. Afterward, I talked to my children alone. My son is 12, and she just needed reassurance that things would be okay and change as little as possible. Although now I see that she's afraid when things finally get resolved. My daughter told me she was crying for me, not her, because of how hurt I must be. I comforted her and made her feel better. Then she asked me for a promise because I've never broken a promise to my children. She asked me to promise yes when this is all over. If my wife loses her new house and needs a place to stay for a while, I'll let her stay here. With all this going on, she could have asked for anything, and she looked out for her mom. I couldn't say no. When she talked to her mom, she asked her to promise to stop talking to the boy. She broke that promise after 2 weeks. Since then, she's gone back into hiding and sees him for half-hour periods at places like Target. I caught her again and again. We had a big falling out, and again, she agreed to stop seeing him, although she still talks to him. Apparently, she has feelings for him now. Like I said, she can't cheat on my daughter. So, eventually, she'll know she broke that promise. I'm in the process of refinancing my house and she's looking for a place of her own. Her rich aunt is guarantor, so I hope she finds something soon. Also, there's another thing, and I know this is going to be controversial on this subreddit. Yes, I have proof, and yes, I now know everything about this guy. But I've decided not to tell his wife. I'm not proud to say it, but my reasons are completely selfish and self-serving. The reality is that if I tell her, they'll get divorced. And then, when my wife leaves, she has a relationship ready and waiting for her. A rich guy who, even after the divorce, will still be rich. Taking her on expensive dates and nice vacations, helping her with her bills, etc. While I fight. As much as I want to hurt this guy, I want to hurt her more. When she leaves, his sneaky behavior will be over. But his won't. They won't be able to go on dates. She'll see it's a hobby. They'll only be able to meet at his house and he'll have to leave as soon as it's over. It won't make her any money because it might alert his wife. And now that she has feelings for him, she'll see if he'll leave his wife and family for her. I bet he won't, but if he does, that's fine. But he'll be the one with the courage to do it. I'm not going to do his dirty work for him. That's what happened to his Aunt Rika. She slept with a married man, his wife found out and left. And she moved right away, going from broke single mom to millionaire. That could happen with my wife, but I'm not going to help it happen. Thanks for reading. I still read this subreddit all the time, and it's been extremely therapeutic. And please try to be kind. I know not everyone will agree with everything in this post. Just try to understand that every situation is different. Thanks. Update 2. It's been 16 months since I found out. Here's an update. If you check my post history, you'll see what happened. I found out my wife was cheating on me after almost 17 years of marriage. So the divorce was finalized last August. I promised my kids their lives would change as little as possible, and I've kept that promise. In August, we finalized the divorce. She was looking at houses while still living here. She was outbid by 16 times. I found a house near the corner from where we lived that she loved. I spoke to the owner, and he basically signed it over without accepting any other offers. She never would have gotten the house without me, which makes me feel good since my kids are now never more than 30 seconds away from me. Our divorce settlement worked out very well for me. No alimony, no child support, shared custody. I kept the house and she got the equity. I was able to refinance before the interest rates skyrocketed. Over the next few months, I basically redecorated my house after dividing the furniture and moving things around. I changed pictures, focused on that, and my kids stayed positive. I kept going to the gym and working out. It's been good. I've been nice to her throughout the process, which put my kids at ease and helped them get used to everything. She even came to Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve at my sister's house. People think I'm crazy, but I let go of the resentment and helped my kids celebrate the holidays normally, and that makes me happy. Financially, I've been doing really well. Although I'm not sure, I think she's struggling. She's never been the best at budgeting. We're supposed to split everything the kids need outside of food and clothing, but I end up paying more than I should, which doesn't bother me because I know it goes to my children. In December, I met a beautiful and wonderful woman. She lives a few hours away and is divorced with 2 kids. Because of the custody schedule, we only see each other a few times a month, but she's amazing and really makes me happy. I don't know what my ex's love life is like. I don't know if she's still seeing him or not. I know she's dating other people, but I don't ask about it. I know she went out one night with a guy 3 weeks after moving in, and she was attacked by 4 girls and beaten up pretty badly, which, I won't lie, made me laugh. As for the guy she was cheating on me with, well, we have some mutual friends that I told. A couple of her friends saw him with his family at an event, and they started a conversation in front of them, where they mentioned my name and that I found out my wife was cheating on me. They said they knew who the guy was, but that he hadn't done anything yet. Then they started saying things like, man, if she decides to go after him, they won't find the guy's body for 50 years and stuff like that. They were just laughing and watching me sweat, not letting on that they knew it was him. I don't think my ex ever told him I knew about the affair. So that was probably a pleasant surprise for him. I'm sure I'll find him eventually. I'm not sure how that will play out, but I'm not going out looking for it. So basically, 16 months after D-Day, I have a new girlfriend. A great relationship with my kids, a happy work life. I'm in excellent physical shape, and financially, I'm doing very well. I don't think things could have turned out any better for me. So if anyone going through this now needs any advice, here's what I would say. Stay positive. Don't let resentment and negative feelings take over your life. If you don't have a lot of money, try sitting down and negotiating a settlement with your spouse without lawyers. This way, you'll actually have some money to tide you over. If you have children, Try to maintain a friendly relationship with your spouse. I know how hard it is, but you're doing it for your kids, not for them. Exercising is a great way to release stress. Find a gym and start going. It will help your mental health as much as your physical health. Remember that every situation is different. Find the path that works best for you. When they're gone, remember that they're gone. They're not coming back to you today. If they do, it's probably not in your best interest. Trust is gone forever. So move on and find someone who deserves you. If you're not the type of person who meets people frequently, try a dating app like Bumble. They work. I know this update isn't as fulfilling as some in this sub would like, but it has really worked out for me and my kids, and that's all I really wanted. So yes, I'm much happier now than I was after that first post. And I think that's the ultimate goal of this sub. Thank you for all the kind words and support. It has helped a lot.